So I got an order for Hornwort this morning, and I sell 12 stems, 6-7 inches long, for, God, I think it's either $14 or $15.95, free shipping. And if you buy two, I'll throw in a third one for free, and that's what I'm doing here. And there's some ram's horn snails on there. So what I'm going to do is try and treat them. So I've got alum here, just regular old alum. And the typical dosage is 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. So I put in 1 tablespoon for about 1.5 gallons of water, because I don't know if Hornwort may be a little more sensitive to it. And I'm only going to leave them in there for about an hour and see if I can drop off a bunch of these little ram's horn snails that are in here. Let's see if we can show you some somewhere, because there's one right there that's already fallen off. But they're really small, and I'm not seeing any right now. Maybe as we dump it in the water here. And it's just tap water. And then when it's all done, I will rinse these with clean water. And I guess I could throw a little Chem Safe in there too. Now I'm not seeing any more here. I know I squished a couple little bitty ones, and I tossed a couple little bitty ones in my snail collection that I send off to, I sell those also, the ram's horn snails. There's one floating right there. So, but anyway, I'm gonna let that sit for about an hour, and then I'll come back and rinse this off. We'll see how it goes. Well, there's a whole bunch of little ones down there. That's all those little black dots. I netted off a bunch of the little Hornwort leaves that were floating around, so you can see a little clearer. And then as I pulled them out, I shook. There were still a few snails stuck, but I decided, you know, half an hour is probably pretty good. So now I'm going to go rinse this with clean tap water, and put a little, after I rinse it, I'll rinse it a couple times. I'll run some fresh water in here and let it overflow. And after I feel like it's been rinsed adequately, I'll stick just a little bit of Chem Safe in here and let it sit in that for a minute or 3. And then I will bag these up. I have to count them back out into portions of, I think I said 12 stems per. So, and this order is 3 packs because they ordered 2, buy 2, get 1 free. I'm using kind of a soft flow right now. I don't want to beat the hell out of this stuff. And we'll let it fill up. And I might even let the Google YouTube AI make a thumbnail for it. So I should have done this in landscape format, but I thought I was just going to make it short instead of making a whole full-length feature out of this mess in portrait. Oh well, yeah, it's just looking good. So now water's covering it. I'm going to move it off to the side like that. I'll turn it full blast and let it fill a little quicker. So otherwise we'll grow old watching this. So I'll get back to you. One thing I can share here is with Hornwort, you end up floating off a lot of the little needles, and they're going to overflow and go down the drain. But also there's some littler pieces that broke off. I'm just tossing those back, and they will grow into ultimately really nice stems that are a sellable size at a later date. This is probably one of the most underrated plants there are. It's a fast grower, it floats. You can stick ends of the stems in the tank or in the substrate. I'm slowing it down now because it's filling out. And yeah, you can see the amount of needles that are floating off here. So I'm just going to let those float over. I don't want to wash the big stems over. Yeah, it floats. It's a great, how do I put this? A user of nitrates. You know, it grows so fast, it sucks up a lot of the nitrates in your tank. And it's a great hidey hole for fry when you got a lot of it. You know, especially like live bear fry. I've got it in Mickey Mouse platies and swordtails. And lots of fry just get up and hang out in it. Neocaridina love it because there's, you know, packs itself with little microbes that they can feed off of. So it's really a good plant. So I'm going to press it down a couple times like this. Get a lot of those needles out, kind of clean it up a little bit. And not seeing any more little bladder snails floating up. They're bladder snails, no pond snails, fortunately. But still, I don't like selling plants with snails if I can avoid it. So that's why I'm doing this. And these came out of my tray with my blackworm colony. So it's only, I don't know, 8 inches deep. I'll show you that. And it was, you know, pretty much covering the whole tank. Long, lush pieces. And then when I was all finished, I broke them down into all pieces about like this. And they'll grow. They'll keep growing, but it made a whole lot more. And that's probably good. We'll let that go down a little bit. Now I will put some Seachem Safe in there and stir that around. Here's the Seachem Safe. I got all rotten egg smell. Just a little bit. This stuff seems to be really heavily concentrated. So we'll let this sit for about 10 minutes. That's the tray I got this from, but it's only, I don't know, you know, the water line's probably 6 inches deep. Came from Target. That was my finger. Now you can see I've got these all busted up into smaller pieces, except for that one. And just snap it right in half there. And like that. And then some of the smaller pieces that I threw back, like here, they'll grow into bigger pieces because that's what Hornwort does. Usually I toss buckets of water from the fish room out on the front lawn or in the planters. I don't know if that's safe for the alum, so I'm just going to put this down the drain once the bucket of Hornwort's done soaking and I get that out of the sink. So then I heat seal these. They're fish bags. I split them in half. They go a lot further that way, a lot less waste. It's important. But anyway, so this was 1.5 of the, I think they're 14-inch. I don't remember, doesn't matter. But they're that wide and twice this tall. And I heat seal them. I don't like using Ziplocs. I've gotten plants several times where people put them in Ziplocs and they leak. And when they leak, the plants dry out very often. So, I mean, anything can happen to these between here and Texas, depending on the post office, but hopefully they'll get their okie doke. Hornwort can be a little fragile shipping sometimes, but we're gonna hope for the best. And then I'm gonna wrap it in some brown paper. Just, you know, it helps, it insulates it a little bit, but it also keeps it from bouncing around in the box. And then ideally it should fit in this 4x6x8 box. Let's see. Well, it all fit. So I always toss in the packing slip and one of my cards, and I do the packing slip. This is an eBay order, so I always do the packing slip. But even when I do a Garage Aquatics order through an auction, you know, one of our YouTube auctions or my Garage Aquatics website, I always throw a packing slip in and a little thank you with my name on it, a little smiley face, because I think people like to see it. I know I always enjoyed getting, when I order something on eBay, you know, a little thank you, you know, a little handwritten thank you. I know some people put in whole thank you cards, and I just like write thank you on the packing slip. So it's all sealed up, ready to go. It's 13 ounces right on. So all I need to do now is print a label, and off it goes. So anyway, if you followed along this far, I appreciate you. I always want to say thanks to my members. I really appreciate your support. And also, thanks to my subscribers, also appreciate your support. And everybody else, thanks for looking. Have a great weekend. No, have a great week. Oh my gosh, it's Monday.